Good evening, Facebook and YouTube. I forgot my platforms for a minute. Welcome to Left Unsupervised, which is Misbehaving. I'm Nikki Jobin, one of the co-owners of Golden Apple Metaphysical. I usually do this broadcast with my business partner, Diana Rachel. However, tonight she's taking a little time off. So I am including a special guest, my dear, dear friend, and a member of the Emperor Norton Magical Social of San Francisco, one of the groups that is that works in conjunction with Golden Apple, my dear friend Lauren Barrett. So she is sitting outside the broadcast studio. So we are going to pull her in. Hey, Lauren.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing tonight?
I am doing well, and I'd like to thank you and Diana for having me as your guest.
Yeah, no, we love having you on the show. I know Diana hasn't had you yet, but I always enjoy when I have you on this show because we have a lot of fun.
She can have me anytime she wants.
She says she wants to lick your brain, so I'm sure she'll be very happy about that.
Okay. Through the ear is probably the best.
Yeah, through the ear is the best. Okay. I will be sure to let her know that. So what are we talking about tonight?
Well, the fact that you didn't want us to do the show topless is kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Well, you're practically topless if it makes you feel any better. These bad boys are staying in the shirt today.
It's no fun. It's no fun unless we're both playing.
Well, maybe if I start drinking, then eventually the shirt will just come off and it'll be great. That'll be
there you go. There you are. Audience, the promise of possible boob nipple.
I didn't say that. I said the shirt. The bra is staying on.
Oh. Well, my bra is staying on till I cut it off because it took me 45 minutes to get the goddamn thing on.
All right, they're not that bad. And thankfully, I'm not at the age where I have to roll them up or anything. Thank goodness.
I mean, because I got two busted hands.
I wasn't talking about that for you. I just said, thank goodness I'm not at the age. Take her easy. Take it easy. All right. All right. I'm trying to see if we're showing up live now. We are showing up on the Facebook. I just did feel like I dated myself right there. We're on the Facebook. It sounds like something my mother would say. Let me see on mine. And Lauren, if you go on your page, you can share.
I did it.
She did it. All right. Edit privacy. Now I can make my other part public. Done. All right. So, So if you've never been to our show before, and we don't have any viewers now anyway, so I'm going to take a second to just explain how this works. As I said previously, I own Golden. What are you doing over there?
Stretching.
You're ridiculous. I don't know what to do with you. I own Golden Apple Metaphysical, an online currently metaphysical shop with author Diana Rachel, who is not on the show tonight, but you've seen her in previous episodes, and she will be here in future episodes. So Diana and I met about 5, almost 6 years ago at the Emperor Norton Magical People Social of San Francisco, and where she was the organizer, and I was the very first person to walk through the door for that meetup. So we've had a lot of fun in those past 5 years. We've gotten up to a lot of antics, a lot of magic, both inside and outside of the circle, and outside of the box as well. And then Lauren and I are co-workers at the best bar in San Francisco, Martuni's Piano Bar. So we are temporarily closed until San Francisco figures out this whole COVID thing. Which, you know what, that brings me into a good, I think we're going to talk about my gripe of this week, because as Lauren and I were discussing what we were going to talk about tonight on the show, I was complaining about other things. And she's like, you should definitely talk about that. So since Martuni's has been closed, I've been working on the shop, getting the website together, creating new products, but I also took a job as an essential grocery worker. So I work for, I know it sounds so weird. I don't think of myself as an essential worker, but I guess technically that I am. And I work for a major grocery chain in the Bay Area. And I've learned a couple things. I've learned that, one, people are definitely in this industry putting their life on the line every single day. We deal with the public all day long. And while some people are wonderful, we just got, for Valentine's Day, we just got a bunch of cards that were made by some students at a local high school. And it wasn't to us personally, but it was to the essential workers at the store. And they were thanking us and just, it's very nice, one, to see young people making an effort, and two, to just realize how much they're appreciated. So that's like the best, like we have people saying thank you. And I have people thanking me all the time, which I find a little odd because, I think of essential worker. Like I said, I don't think of myself in that role, but, they're like, thank you for being here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, well, thank you for coming in. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have the people that give you a hard time about wearing a mask, or, I have this man that walks in talking about this conspiracy theory video that I guess is on YouTube. Every time he comes in, he's like, have you watched it? Have you watched it? And he solicits people in the store about it. And I'm constantly like, oh, I don't want to hear it. It's not a government conspiracy. It's an actual real live pandemic. So my gripe today was one of my coworkers shared a video of something that happened at a Trader Joe's in Santa Cruz. So there was a group of people, maybe 7, 8, 10 possibly, people that came in. They bypassed the line of masked people, socially distanced, who were patiently waiting to come into the store. They bypassed that entire group and just kind of bum rush went in to the store. None of them were wearing masks. They were videotaping as they were walking through, and they just went through. The workers were trying to ask them to leave because they don't want to wear a mask. And the irony is, one of the people that was in the group had a mask that he was wearing like a chin diaper. So he obviously wore his mask at other places, but he chose not to do it for this ridiculous display. So, it's super duper frustrating, that, these people are coming in, they're endangering other people's health. They're endangering their own health. One of the women was pregnant, and in the group that we are all in, Diana, Lauren and myself, the Emperor Norton group, one of our members is a mortician, and they have said that on a good day, they're doing 2 COVID cases on a good day.
And the amount of protective gear that they have to wear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're in a full, damn near hazmat suit.
That's just to cook a body.
Yeah. And it's just, it's just ridiculous that a year into this, people still don't believe that it's a thing. They don't want to wear masks. It's infringing on my personal choice. I don't know how many times I've heard, an older cis white male tell me that it's infringing on their rights, and he has the right to make his own choice with his body. I'm like, you're preaching to the choir, bitch. Wear your fucking mask.
I think it's worth reminding people, and you can maybe use, this is definitely tame in comparison to the suggestions I've made to you in private of things you can do.
I'm not licking anyone's groceries.
I say lick all the groceries. Just be like, okay, you don't put your mask on, I'm licking everything. But to remind them that if the staff gets sick, the store closes down, there's no option. What are you going to do then? You want to go to Whole Foods? Huh? You want to do that? Obviously, the place is not Whole Foods. I'll shut up now. But you want to spend all your money? Yeah,
I'm not, we don't have a mandate from the store that I can't list where I work. I just learned years ago in retail that if you're putting something out in the public on the internet, social media, that you just don't mention your workplace. Right. But if you are a friend of mine watching this, you probably know where I work. But it's just, just the incidences that I've heard about. Thankfully, I have not had to deal with any of them, but just the incidence of rudeness and threatened violence that my coworkers have had to deal with, that other people standing around have stood by and just let happen. They said nothing. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm the type of person that I can't get away with saying nothing. Who is this? Oh, it's actually one of my coworkers. Just said hi to us. Hi, Aaron. Thanks for watching the show. He gets to hear me complain about the people that come into our store.
Well, it's funny because people don't think of people that work in store like yours as essential, and they haven't for years. I've always, me, I thank people for their service since before this shit happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that anybody that's in service of others is an essential worker. Also, BT Dubs, I believe February 25th is when bar and restaurant people are cleared for getting the vaccine. I just got my second shot a couple days ago.
It's flesh colored, so we almost can't see it, but I saw it.
Eh,
Well, I'm really glad that you got it though, because I was worried.
well, I mean, I didn't do anything, but getting on BART was, for those that don't know, and a lot of them probably don't, I tick about 6 boxes on the hospitalization death list. They just want to keep me. So I kind of worked down how they did it. They kind of had tiers. So I think what they're doing, and what people I don't think understand, is my clinic had a finite amount of vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
And they started with their first tier, which is probably like 90-year-olds or whatever the most at risk is. And I'm somewhere in the third tier. And I don't know how far it goes, but when I did, huh?
Nothing. I said, because you're not 90 yet.
Nope, not yet. And you're just behind me. So keep it up. So I think that they went, they're just spiraling down. It is kind of surreal to get the looks that I get, because I don't look like I'm my age. And there's a bunch of like 70 and 80-year-old people just looking at me. Who's this kid coming in here? Like, trust me, I'd trade it off. I'd trade 40 years for, what I have to deal with. But, it is what it is. And I haven't died yet. So knock on wood.
Well, you weren't sick when you got the first dose.
No.
But you did have a reaction to it.
Yes, I did. And I had a very rare reaction, but not intense. It just, a week after the shot, my arm flared up and got red and hot. Don't call the CDC. It's very disappointing. But it's, the science on this is it's catching up with itself as we go along. There's no established science on COVID. There isn't. There's established science on animal to human transfer, but there's no science on COVID specifically. We've been learning as we go. So this is the first time. So we're on the ground floor of it. I'm just hoping that people get over themselves by the time the next round comes. Because this stupidity, when we've all got to be shot up with mega antibiotics that they have to create in some lab, people are going to be really sorry. The next round isn't going to be cute like this.
Yeah, right. And then it's just, it's just, if you don't want to wear a mask, fine. You have other options. You can get delivery. You can come to the store. We'll bring it out to your car free of charge. Yep. Well, I don't think that there might be a small fee. Just kidding. I don't know. But it's going to cost as much as the gas to drive over there. Maybe, maybe not. But you have options if you don't want to wear a mask. So stop thinking about yourself. Think about other people. This gentleman that came in one day that was griping about being told to wear his mask. I said, I understand. As a woman, I understand wanting to have the freedom of choice. However,
you needed an abortion. I love you for that.
Yeah.
You needed an abortion, girl. Get it.
I said, however, now's the time that we need to make the choice to choose to do things for other people.
Right.
And that's what this really is. I'm not worried about getting sick myself, but I wear a mask because I want to protect other people. and that's what it's all about. If we all do this, we all get through it together, it'll be, I mean, it still might be a long time because not everyone's going to get on board, but then you have to deal with the anti-vaxxers.
Right. Which that was my gripe, was those people in LA holding up the line. Granted, they only did it for an hour, but people have already taken a hit in this, and holding up the vaccine line is paramount to denying people their rights.
Yeah. And
you're denying people whatever their choice, their right to decide for themselves. It just, I had nothing devastating has happened to me. Now, in the next hour or so, I might come down with a massive flu and just be done.
Or you could just broke on the show. That would be interesting.
That'd get the ratings up. Holy crap, thanks.
It's okay. No one was watching when I said that.
Way harsh, Ty. Oh my God.
I love that you just added that reference in there. And she just walked off camera.
I'm right here.
Oh, are you getting drugs?
I'm getting drugs. Because they're fun. This is not interesting. This is my George Foreman's. These are my George Foreman's. And
George Foreman Jr.
Because the drug sounds like George Foreman, so I call it my George Foreman's. I can remember George Foreman. I can't remember what this shit is. And these are my Yo Gabba Gabbas.
That's okay. The pills that I have to take, I can't remember. I don't remember the name, but I remember what they do and why they're important. They're for public safety. I don't get irritated, and they don't kill you. So
I'm having surgery on Monday, and I'm not going to be able to take. I think I'm not going to be able to take my crazy pills. The pharmacists look at me. They're like, "You're da 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 da," and I'm like, "My what?" They're like, they start explaining it to me, and I'm like, the crazy pills. Everybody just they're like trying not to smile and crack up. The crazy pills. I call my.
What do they care if they smile?
Pharmacists don't have a sense of humor. They're not known for their joking.
Well, that's because people can't take a joke.
Nobody wants a funny pharmacist. Okay.
I think it would be funny. If mine was like, "Oh, you're taking these, huh? You got the good stuff," then I would laugh. I would think that that's funny, but that's just me.
I call my nut doctor, my head doctor. She's lovely.
Call your head doctor your nut doctor, or your nut doctor your head doctor?
Well, I haven't had nuts for several years, but my therapist.
I know.
I can never figure out which side
like
this is.
You explain it.
Do you like watching me try to figure out which side I'm doing? Because it's all backwards for me.
I'm just happy you managed to get dressed on your own.
It was close. It was close.
So how does this topic of gripes transcend into the pagan world? Well, it really is about choices. Like some of the things that we talk about, the morality of magic is like, consent culture and not doing spells against people without their consent. Like I sell in the shop, I sell a couple kits. One is a lust kit. And I think that when people hear that, because they've had some questions about it, they think it's just, this little spell that you can do to make anybody fall in lust with you. So you can have sex with anyone you want. And that's really not what it's for. It's actually designed for couples that are experiencing a little downslope in that area. But there's work to be done with it, beyond doing the spell for, your passion to spice up. It's also designed to make you more cognizant of the little things that we can do every day to create intimacy with our partner again. And, I think sometimes people don't realize, maybe they don't know that intimacy isn't always in the bedroom and it's not always about physicality.
Also, how hot is it when you come home and you find your partner like with this full-on kit in front of them and like lighting incense and candles and saying words? That's like scary hot. Like you can have that like that I don't know if she's going to stab me in my neck afterwards, but it's going to be fun getting there. Yeah, that'll heat up a bedroom.
I was really going to say that. I don't know if they're going to sacrifice me later or depending on the partner.
Woo! It's a fun trip while it lasts.
It's a roller coaster ride.
Who knows? You know, maybe she won't want to kill you by the time you get to the end of it.
Right? Well, and I think there's a lot of work that we do, and it's a fine line that we sit on doing magic, especially when you're doing magic for other people. Because if you're doing a spell for a client, it's really about, they can tell you their intent and you hope that it's their true intent and that's the intent that you're going with.
Mm-hmm.
But I make sure that I outline very specifically in my love and lust magic spells that these are designed for consensual relationships.
Right.
It's not about, oh, I think that person's hot, I want them to love me forever. Because,
right.
I think that that's kind of crap, and that kind of stuff can turn to obsession. I actually learned that the hard way.
Right. I did my bring me love, bring me quality. Mm-hmm. For myself. It was to wash over me, to bring that energy to me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about anybody specific, and that, I think that's what is important is using with good conscience, because there are a lot of people that don't have a good conscience, and while mm-hmm. I definitely think there are people that deserve to be taken to task and lose skin for the atrocities that they commit against people. Mm-hmm. I do. I'm willing to trade on my karma.
It's just like the way you said, lose skin. I like that.
Yeah, they should lose skin, literally and figuratively. Mm-hmm. And I watch people with good hearts deal with great tragedies and hardships. We're all going to deal with them. And mm-hmm. it looks like a lot of evil people get over, but in the end, they really don't. There's a loneliness, a sadness, and I don't see any problem if somebody does something out of viciousness. I think some people are so damaged, but really, my purpose, and especially my newfound purpose, is to do them, to treat the injury that's inside those people, to, as opposed to, let's just nail this person to the wall. Let's do something to try and give them some serenity, some peace, and some joy for their fellow man, their fellow human.
See, that's what I like about you. I'm still on the nail them to the wall.
I believe that I've actually watched you nail people to the wall.
Thrown against the wall. I don't know about nailed. Maybe you throws.
Did you carry her out too?
Telling people my business? Jeez Louise. I couldn't carry her out because wait, which one? The one that I carried out by her shoulders because she was really drunk and need to go?
You're telling me not to talk about your business, and then you're like, wait, which one?
Well, then it's my business. That's okay if I say it.
Oh, okay.
If you're
you
watching,
just doubled down.
If you're watching right now and have any questions or comments, please feel free to share them on the chat. They will pop up on my screen. I will share them on the main screen, and we'll dish. We will not talk about carrying people out of businesses.
I wonder if Daddy's watching.
God, I hope not. Well, someone thought it was funny. Who thought it was funny? Let me see if I can see who thought it was funny. Oh, Angelina Gamble. Well, Angelina, hi.
Oh, hi, Angelina. She is my lovely Indian sister, Native American, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Hi, pretty. And she's been doing really great. Actually, I think we have something else in common, too. Not to be exposed.
I'm that went right over my head. Sorry.
I know.
It's okay. I'm just pretty. That's all. I don't have to
Oh,
be smart today.
oh, there we go. I can see them.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the Facebook ones.
Yeah. Oh,
Hi,
she said
sweetie.
hi. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
Mwah, mwah.
I think that you're in that better place. I'm still in a place of if someone does something to me or someone that I care about, there's going to be action taken. Now, I'm not saying that it's necessarily even going to be metaphysical action.
Right.
Because I'm not afraid to get, down and kind of feisty with people.
Right.
But at the very least, there will be a comment made because I don't play around with any of that.
There are levels and there are limits.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And I think when you are coaxing, where are we in the talk?
I think we're moving into coaxing and affecting.
Okay. When you're coaxing responses out of the universe, out of the spirits, out of whatever your higher power is, or whatever you revere,
Mm-hmm.
it is a request. It's not a demand. We're not the ones in charge. And I am learning in the work that I'm doing recently that, we say it a lot, but we don't acknowledge it, that hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
And, the people who commit grievous atrocities against other people oftentimes have had those atrocities committed against them.
That's a really fair statement.
Huh?
That is a very fair statement.
And we're in a it's funny because some of the things that I complain about, some of my gripes, have to do with this whole the culture we're in. We disregard the path behind us because we don't have a connection to our history in the same way. Whereas you and I are of a generation where our parents and our grandparents and our aunties and our uncles and all of those people, our elders, we sat at dinner tables together. We listened to the adults talk. We heard the stories of the way their lives went.
Mm-hmm.
We had 3 TV channels. We didn't have devices in our hands constantly distracting us and disconnecting us from the people directly in the room with us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in a culture where what I say is right and what I say goes. And it's because I'm younger and I know better. We're not supposed to hurt people's feelings. But sometimes that sort of bulldozing, everybody get on the same page of using the pronouns and how we do this and how you're supposed to approach me can be really attacking, intimidating. And one thing we forget that the people who they look at. I was listening to somebody talk today who said that her father molested her, and she found out later that her father had been molested. And we're in a culture where that stuff is brought to the light, to the forefront. I was molested as a child, but it didn't see the light of day because in the 80s they still weren't talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just becoming something that we talked about in the 80s and 90s. It takes a lot of strength and compassion to think that person had something wrong with them. And those people have something wrong with them. There's only a small, minute group of us that are really evil. There's a sliver of humanity that is evil. And you'll find in a lot of ways, in a lot of situations, they're ticked over by drugs, by encouragement from others. They put themselves in situations where they're with people who think the way they do. And so they're able to carry out heinous things. Like,
If you look at our just our society now, how the country is really torn. Now, we've seen a resurgence. Well, maybe it's not a resurgence, but maybe we've seen that like racism is alive and apparently very well in the United States right now. You know, and honestly, I knew that people were still racist out there, and I knew that racism happened, and I knew that these acts went on, but I didn't think that it was as widespread as it really is. And if one thing, like I didn't vote for Trump, I'm glad that he's out of office. But the one thing I realized that him coming into office,
mhm.
like we turned the light on and we saw how fast the cockroaches are scurrying.
Right.
You know, but now we know that we do really have a ton of cockroaches and we need an exterminator. You
Yeah.
know, the wounds of our country are huge, like arterial wounds that we're just trying to put band-aids over.
Right.
And we really, whether you know, we focus on the problem as witches or when we focus on the problem as just people in a community, like we really have to think about those things and how we are affecting it. You know, and I'm a firm believer in the mentality that, you know, changing your community and affecting your community will change the world.
Mm.
You know, it won't be an overnight process for sure.
This is why I think the coaxing,
Mm-hmm.
whatever's out there that's bigger than us, and what we should all be doing is not saying I do hoodoo, I do fairy, I do whatever your concentration is. We should all be putting that energy into the greater bucket of good and trying to coax all of our entities into serving the healing of of the earth's people. And I think that we're probably more effective on smaller scales in pockets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't believe I have any more control over whether somebody has a good day or a bad day as I do whether the sun rises or sets. That is beyond what I am
I don't think
capable
that
of
we
doing.
have total control, but I think that we do affect someone's day. You've seen countless times that
Yes.
someone comes in an awful mood and you just treat them with kindness and civility and you get so much further.
Yeah.
You know, I have been told countless times at work that, you know, you're so happy, you're so pleasant. And I'm like, really, I'm just kind of happy that I got out of the house for the day.
I
Maybe
wish you
that's
could.
why you're going to make some snarky comment about how I am at the bar. I know you. I can read it in your face. Evil person. But I don't. You know that I don't affiliate myself with a specific path or tradition. I think I've always said I work with whoever will work with me, whoever whatever will work with me. And in a sense, it is for the greater good. And I try to be very cognizant of who I'm working with. One, to be
Yep.
respectful of the framework that work is to be done in. You
Hi,
know,
Daniel.
and and to, you know, not only respect the entities or the spirits that I'm working with, but also to respect you're just going to keep filling with that. Also
I'm
to
pulling it up
respect,
because my brother's in the fucking room.
maybe he hasn't seen them so prominently displayed, but I'm sure he's aware that you have them. But I also try to be, you know, severely respectful of the people that have come before and done
Right.
this work.
Right.
Because I think Diana and I have talked in a past show about the, you know, the respect versus the respect issue. You know, a lot of older pagans believe that the younger generation isn't very respectful, but the respect door swings both ways.
Right.
You know, just because you are not as experienced or you don't have as many years of experience as a practicing witch doesn't mean that you don't have something valuable to add to the conversation.
Right.
Just because you're not part of a path or tradition specifically doesn't mean that you don't have something valuable to add.
Well, I honestly, I think that you're a perfect example of that because you bring a lot of raw energy to the work you do, And you're insightful, which I think is something that gets overlooked by a lot of people. So in the short time that you have been practicing openly, you really, you have affected a lot. You're studied and really respectful of others, which I think speaks to your desire to learn and learn and learn. You've just absorbed so much. And, in my growth, it's been very singular and alone. So I appreciate that you're really encompassing of others. And it made me feel comfortable talking about my choices as well. So,
Well, I remember being younger, because I'm still young, a younger person in this, following this solitary path and speaking to people that had been in traditions for years. And one, I kind of felt like they were speaking a language that I maybe didn't understand. Like I spoke Spanish and they spoke Italian kind of thing. It was very similar and I kind of got the gist, but there were nuances that I missed because I wasn't part of that tradition. And for their framework, because we were speaking two different languages, the nuances got lost, even though I think maybe they did want to teach me that. I think that just sometimes if you're not speaking the exact same language, it will get lost. But I honestly believe that the energy work that I do currently, I couldn't have learned any other way. I wouldn't do things the way that I do them with the results that I get had I been on a specific path or tradition. So,
right,
they say not all who wander are lost. I
right.
wandered for a long time, but I was on the right path. I just didn't know where it was taking me. I still don't necessarily know where it's taking me, but the journey itself has been very, very inspiring. There's been a lot of growth. And though I'm not 100% comfortable in all the stuff that I do, I know that I have helped quite a few people. And that's just what I strive for every day.
I think so. I mean, you make me want to be better and to do more. So I appreciate that. And share with others and share, as much as I can. It's a little bit of a challenge, but back to the coaxing, it's what putting that energy back into other people, bettering each other. But the plan is there. We can't see what it is. There's powers much greater than us who
Absolutely.
can see much further into the future. And what I was saying to you earlier today about, like love spells and things like that. You can't always see. You might think you want that person, but you can't see if that person is going to end up being the worst person you could ever choose. And I think part of the work is for people to work on themselves first.
Absolutely.
And ask for the universe to give them a little more insight. Like you can play things out. Most reasonable people can play things out and see how things are going to go. But maybe that job isn't supposed to be the job you get. Maybe you get the job that you're supposed to get if you put your faith into it. If you fight and keep knocking on a door, maybe one day you'll get that job. Maybe it's the job you're supposed to get, but you weren't supposed to get it when you got it. I will say that the situation with my dating life is a reflection of a lot of that. You know about some of the things that have happened in my life, in my recent life, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And I thank you for having, the foresight that I didn't have. If I talk about how I'm the imploder again, oh my God, I will drop a depth charge right into the middle of a dating situation just so I don't have to deal with it. And I appreciate that you encouraged me. You saw something that I didn't see. You either saw myself being destructive, or you saw something better for me. And I don't know what it was,
I think maybe it was a little bit of both. And I saw where you saw it too. I saw that you saw something that you really liked because I heard it in your voice and I saw it in your face when you were telling me things. But then I realized that, we're all very capable of self-sabotage, and that transcends whether you're just, a regular mundane person going through your dating life, or when you're a witch or a pagan, but I think that as a person with metaphysical skills and abilities, that we have a little bit more impact, I think, on those energies, because we're more connected. And I don't know, and I can't say that we're making the things happen, but we are more connected to the energies, because I'm a firm believer that no matter how many spells you do, no matter how many candles you burn, if something is not meant to be,
Right.
it's not going to happen. And I saw that myself when my first husband left. I must have done this candle magic to avoid a divorce and bring back your spouse. I must have done it every day for 2 weeks. I did it like twice as long as they told me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, nothing, nothing. Only later was I able to look back on that situation and say, the reason this didn't happen is because I was meant for something that was better for me.
Right.
Which I'm still in, and I'm very happy in. Which, my current partner is someone that knows me almost better than I know myself, and understands, my current primary partner, I should say, knows my needs, and understands why I do the things that I do, and why I have the needs that I have. And it's really important to me, because if I'd stayed with my first husband, I wouldn't have had that, and I wouldn't have the life that I have now. So sometimes you do have to go through something bad to get to something better. And I'm just a firm believer in that. I worked as a retail manager for years, and I got fired from that job, and it led me to something better. First of all, it led me to a work-life balance, which I did not have. And then, it led me to the bar business, which I found that I absolutely love and thrive in. And I don't know if it's just because of working at Martuni's, and that environment maybe is just the perfect environment for me, but I absolutely love it. And, I do like my job at the grocery, but for just the job that I feel is perfect for me, and I have all that passion and energy, it's definitely working at the bar, and the staff and the community that we have. Really, I couldn't choose a more perfect job, a more perfect place to spend my work life.
Right. There is, and there's a freedom from that the bar industry gives you
Absolutely.
that you don't get in retail. The
Oh my
customer
God,
is never right in the bar industry.
Or after enough cocktails, they realized they were wrong.
Or after too many cocktails, it just get carried out, thrown out, asked to leave nicely.
All of the above.
I have I will say in the last year I've definitely done a lot more work. I've done a lot more focusing, meditating, connecting to the spirits and the powers that are beyond us. Just,
And you're more open about it now too. But when I first met you, even when you finally started talking to me about it, you were very reticent to talk about it. You were like, I work with things, and some of the things that I work with, you might be very surprised about, but I don't really talk about it. And you left it at that. And it took a while for you to feel comfortable enough with me to be open about it. And now you just really put it out there, and just to see that evolution is very
I've never spoken about this with my brother, and the fact that he is here watching it is a little bit, it's a little, but it is part of who I am, and it's part of what I do. And, if it's a little nutty, then I guess that's okay. I've never really been conventional. If he can trust in anything, it's that I'm pretty fucking nuts. And this is not the weirdest thing I've ever done. So, no, Daniel, don't sign
Stay
off.
on. Stay
It's
on.
fine. It's fine. It's Gosh, I'm actually very glad that he's here. So
Mhm.
I am
No, I
honored.
get it. Remember when we were talking about pagan dating,
Yeah.
and when we had that episode where we were talking about that, and our boss was on, and he heard about my polyamory, he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I watched your podcast." I was like, "Oh,
Oh
you did?
crap.
How much did you watch?" "Oh, the first 20, 30 minutes or so." I was like, "Oh, so you heard a lot about my life." And he was like, "Yes, yes, I did." I was like,
But
"Oh,
the
good
funny
night."
thing about him is that you have to remember that he has told us stories about a bare-breasted coworker who wore a snake to work.
Okay, I must have missed that story.
I think that was a strip club,
Oh,
something like that.
well, then you expect them to kind of be bare-breasted, and snakes are optional.
And the stories that he tells, it's like he's lived plenty of life. This is not. He's more upset that in like the 90s everybody wore CK1 in the bar and stank up the whole place. That that's something that I think really bothers him.
Oh, well, yeah,
Uh,
it bothers me too.
and he hates patchouli.
Yeah,
So these are the things that really get his gut. I got red today, by the way. I don't know if you can see it, but I
a
got
little bit.
I
More
was out
along
for,
here, like here, I can see the red.
yeah, it's on my nose too, my cheeks. I got
It looks
30
like a little
minutes of
happy
sun.
glow.
Huh?
It looks like a little happy glow.
I look all healthy. Uh, um uh So yeah, the work that I like to do or I'm moving towards is much more. I'm going to be a full on hippie by the time I'm like 70, and
Uh-oh.
just wearing colors, which is going to be new. A
Ooh, we're
new.
gonna braid your hair all long, and we're gonna do like the ya sisterhood thing. That's gonna be great. And my kids are gonna look at us like, "All right, Mom and Auntie Lauren are a little."
And I'm gonna curl. I'm gonna coax the curl a little bit more with my hair, and I'll have like real white streaks from graying hair, and just put in like one dreadlock that just hangs
Oh, and we're gonna wear
oddly.
fringe. I never really wore fringe, but we're gonna wear fringe just
Oh
'cause.
yeah, no, total Stevie Nicks, total
Yeah,
Stevie Nicks.
I love
Um,
Stevie.
oh, lovely, thank you, Dan.
Well, this is a tie-dye I like that. Wait, the Volkswagen, like the van or like a little bug?
Well, he's got a bug now, but I'm sure that the way my life
Look at
goes, he's
that.
gonna have to build me a home, and it'll probably be in a Volkswagen van. I'll just park outside of his house. It'll be the whole family.
You
Uh,
know what? I actually have a friend that has turned her, I believe it's a van, but she's turned it into like a little mobile house.
mhm.
And it's really cute inside, and she's able to kind of travel around and go places. And she absolutely loves it. She says that it's a freedom that she's really never had before. And I think that idea is really, I couldn't do it now, like with the kids and everything. I couldn't uproot them, but like I could see doing that if I was older. One of my partners, he and his wife, they have an RV, and
Mhm.
they were living and running a campground in Northern California, but then they moved to Florida to run another campground, and they love it.
Right on. Is it the? Do I
James,
know this person?
yeah, it's James.
Oh, okay.
He's
My
totally
other
okay with
boyfriend.
me naming him. Yeah,
My my weird Celtic boyfriend.
I
Um,
love James.
I do too. I'm glad I get to live vicariously through you.
There we go.
I have a husband. I have boyfriends. I have
All through me.
kids.
All through me.
You're my surrogate everything.
Oh my God! One of my coworkers the other day, she was like, "So, which one are you spending Valentine's Day with?" And I was like, actually, I'm at that time I thought I was driving my daughter back home to Santa Rosa. I was like, I'm spending it with my daughter. And somebody was like, oh, that's so sweet. I was like, yeah, I'm driving her back to Santa Rosa. It's less sweet than it sounds.
Right. Yeah. She's getting a free ride. Um, so what are some of the kits that you have?
Well, I have 6 kits currently. There is obviously love, lust, prosperity, protection, peace, and self-love. Like if I was going to do love and lust, I absolutely wanted to make sure self-love was in there because, if you don't love yourself, if you're not finding it inside, it's very, very, I believe it's very, very hard to find it without.
Right. Right.
And I designed these myself. I picked the herbs, I created the spells, and I really put a lot of thought into the work for these. Each little kit, let me see if I know I have one behind me. Let's see if it's carved. Oh, this one, you can, see it there. So the sigils for them are burned on the outside of the box. There we go. Now it's in the camera. And then on the inside, I don't think this one has anything in it. They come with a candle, some kind of stone. So there's a candle and a holder. There's a little charcoal block because the incense that I make is all loose. There's oil that you can anoint the candle with. And I have the spell and then the spell instructions.
Right on.
So I really try to make it all encompassing. And what I'm doing, because the spells are in Latin, I just, for whatever reason, enchanting things in Latin really resonates with me. So also for customers, for the pronunciation, I also will include a recording of me saying it so that they can get the pronunciation, because not everyone can speak Latin.
How do you do that?
I just record it on actually through this forum, StreamYard. StreamYard is the streaming website that we use that streams to both Facebook and YouTube. But I can do it where it's a video like this, and then I can download just the audio.
Okay, this is not a setup. It's not a setup.
No.
I'm genuinely asking these questions because as much as we spend time together, I don't ask these questions.
Yeah. It's actually pretty cool that I could do that. And then later, if I wanted to make like this episode a podcast where it was just the audio, I could do that without, because I download the whole video and then I also download just the audio.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Right on. Cool. I actually I'm psyched. I love the idea of the self-love one. That I think is really cool. I don't think that's addressed a lot in most metaphysical stores, witch themed stores. There's a lot of, in what I practice, there's a lot of working to affect things. It's sort of bastardized. And people, I'm not stealing anybody's soul, and I don't practice
hours anyway.
If I want souls, I for babies. They don't fight that much. Plus, nobody knows their soul's gone till they're much, much older. So
there you go.
But
your brother's probably rolling his eyes right now.
I'm gonna get a phone call tomorrow. I want to do more work. I want to do more group work. I think I'd like to.
One of the things I try to focus on with the self-love is, not only, because I think we all have an idea of who we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think part of the work is accepting who you are today.
Right. Yeah.
And I know that you have done in the last year a lot of work on yourself, and part of that was acceptance.
Right.
And I'm completely in awe of you.
And
that may or may not have been in the back of my head when I was designing this.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Surprise! I should call it the Lauren, but I won't. It is more Sui.
I hope that those aspects of my story inspire more and more people to really, reflect the world they want to see, and that's where the coaxing, I think, of spirits and energies for me comes in. Is I really want I want the world to reflect what I wish for it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a challenging day today because I really do want people, I sincerely want people to live the best possible life they can live and to have as much joy as they can squeeze out of it. And I watch people on a daily basis whose children have been murdered, who have suffered great
Mm.
losses, and they through divinity and I say that in a non-Christian, completely spiritual way, because I myself am clearly not Christian, but the divinity of nature, of the gods that exist, that if we coax them, maybe they coax things in our favor.
Yeah, absolutely. But there has to be, I believe that there has to be action with it as well.
I agree.
You
I
know,
agree 100%.
like one of the things with since we were talking about these kids, one of the things is there is work that you have to do.
Yeah,
You know, you can't just expect to do a love spell to find that perfect person and not put yourself out there.
right.
You know, the bachelor's not going to come knocking on your door for money spells. Bill Gates isn't going to come give you $1 million. You know,
I do believe that you can get the chip for free, though. I already got it. I got two. The vaccine has all the, don't quote me on that, but that's the running
well, if
theory.
you have a cell phone now, what are you worried about? What are you worried about? You've been followed for years anyway. Who cares?
The
I don't worry
NSA,
about it because I'm like, okay, if you want to watch the weird shit I do, have fun with that.
right? What would mine be? Mine would be, she sat at home again today.
I always joke around that, God or gods, whoever your idea of divinity is, like watching us must be like a sitcom, like it's like television. Like, oh God, look at this comedy gold over here. Or when we're going through hard times, it's the drama. Like it's, sometimes it's a crime drama and sometimes it's forensic files. And occasionally it's all the paranormal shows on the Travel Channel.
We were talking about the hotel, the Cecil today.
Oh yeah, the Cecil Hotel. It's a hot topic right now. That little gal. I can't remember Lamb. I know her last name was Lamb, but I can't remember her first name. That disappeared from the Cecil Hotel. So
Yeah,
that was a big thing because on Discovery Plus, if you have Discovery Plus, which I highly recommend, I love it to death. They had Ghost Adventures. Had they checked out the haunting, but they investigated more than her disappearance. I guess excuse me, Richard Ramirez had lived there for a while. And there was a couple other things that they were investigating there. But then on Netflix, there's now, I think it's called Crime Files or Crime Scene, where they're talking about the disappearance at the Cecil Hotel. So if you're not really familiar with this story, this young Canadian student was traveling. She was on vacation. She was staying at the Cecil Hotel. And she disappeared only later to have her body found in their water tower. And can I just say, ew.
you.
People
I
were
remember I
smelling
read
the
the
house.
article in
People were
Vanity Fair.
drinking that. If you were drinking that, oh,
The hotel guests were saying that the water smelled funny and tasted funny.
oh, see, this is why I don't drink the water that comes out of the faucet. But if
Mm-mm.
the ice maker's hooked up to the plumbing, the ice that you're putting in your drink from the ice machine is going to have it too. You know,
Yeah, but it'll be in chunks.
yeah, nummy. Um, But so, later when they're investigating her subsequent, death, they had video footage of her acting very strange, hotel elevator footage. It seemed like she was talking to someone that wasn't there, or like she was hiding, but her behavior was very odd, and they don't know what the cause of that was. I'm not sure if she had mental issues that could have played into this, or if she used drugs that could have played into this. Um, but that this is a mystery, and people don't know how she ended up in this water tower, which is in theory supposed to be locked,
Right.
and roof access is also supposed to be locked. But somehow she got in there.
Well, I beg the question, how often do you check the water tower lock?
Yeah,
But I think there are logistics to her death. I don't think that it's a I have trouble believing that I do believe that malevolent spirits exist and
absolutely.
do things, but I have trouble believing that they can coax you into dying in a water tower.
Yeah. So we have a comment from one of my other coworkers, Caitlin. She says she was playing a game that was supposed to open a portal, I think. So I
Huh.
don't know if that was like a Ouija board. Oh, yes. Yes, I do actually remember that from the thing. It's this elevator game, and I forget where it originates. It might have originated in, I don't know if it was supposed to be Japan or where it was. I remember watching that, where it's like you hit a certain sequence of numbers. And when you come to one floor, you're supposed to jump out and jump back in. Let's see, what does she say? You have to hit the elevator button for certain floors in a pattern. And then I think one of the floors you're supposed to get out and come back in. And when you come back in, there's supposed to be a pattern, a passenger, like a non-corporeal passenger with you, because it's
Ah,
supposed to open a portal. Yeah. Um, but again, like we don't know what was going on in her mind. We don't know. Somewhere in Asia, and I think she's saying that that's where it originated, was somewhere in Asia. Um, So, we don't, obviously none of us know what the girl's mindset was, if, pharmaceuticals or alcohol were a factor. We really don't know. It's just a lot of speculation, and um, we don't really know what the evidence is in the case.
I guess the Japanese toilet ghost wasn't enough for her.
Oh my God, that was hysterical when we read that. Not this girl, not about the Cecil Hotel, but this, yeah, what is it? If you go in the bathroom or you knock on the door 3 times and you call, God, what was her
Right,
name?
the hot zoomy. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I don't remember. My daughter read it in a book, and so Lauren was here at my house and she went in the bathroom, and then we knocked on the door while she was in the bathroom and she just asked for the ghost. It was weird, stupid stuff that we do.
I love Japan. Just doesn't cease to pay off in the crazy. If it's not like child porn Sailor Moon, it's panties in vending machines and toilet ghosts.
See, I'm about the toilet ghosts, and the suicide forest is a huge thing. They talk about that, they find thousands of bodies in that forest every year. And there
Well,
are some, because it's so massive, there are some that they probably can't even find.
I think that there's something to be said for people copycatting behavior.
Mhm.
Um, but that combined with natural vortexes like the mystery spot in Santa Cruz is a perfect example.
I
Um,
have not been there. I'm
I've never been there
skeptical.
either. Ooh, road
I'm
trip, road trip,
skeptical.
road
Road
trip.
trip. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm very skeptical of the mystery spot, but I
Me
do know
too.
that at Mount Diablo, there's supposed to be a vortex, I believe, there. And, ley lines run all over the world. And there are definitely spots that have been shown to have things happen. And I'm definitely really interested in visiting some of these spots.
Well,
So
we can
yeah, I'm
probably
excited.
find one that's less on the beaten path
Mhm.
because because then we could video.
Yeah.
We could do like a remote show. Um, we could do our own paranormal normal
That would
investigation.
be hysterical. I have so many people that want to do that. We would have a total team. Like Brad does, like, audio and visual stuff, and he definitely wants to investigate. One of my partners is a former cop. Christine definitely wants to do it. Um, James is a camera guy, like a filmmaker and a camera guy. Oh, Caitlin says she's down. See, we
Brad
can
is like the
have
hottest AV guy. That's ridiculous. Who thought the AV guy'd be the hot guy?
I did. Yeah, it would be great. Like I watch a lot of these, like since I got Discovery Plus, I can't I cannot stop plugging that streaming service. I do highly recommend it. I love their paranormal section because they have so many things. And on the Golden Apple Instagram, we're actually followed by quite a few paranormal investigation teams, which I really, really love.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm super duper excited by them. And I keep saying that I would love that, when I'm doing energy work, because I feel something and the person that I'm working with feels something, but I would love to have scientific evidence, like a thermal camera to be, to be there when we're doing it, or, an EMF meter, just to see if any of the numbers change. Like if you can see, because I always feel cold in my hand, just in my hands, like there's wind rushing.
Right.
And if I could see a scientific correlation with that, like you could see that there's definitely, where we're touching and doing this, that there's cold energy there that, that changes while we're doing this. Like that's the kind of evidence that I look for and love.
Well, I would wear shit like this, and like in different colors.
Very cool.
Right. I could be like because I'm the heavy set chick, so I gotta wear like the weird, like light moo thing, and always have my boobs out, and then like really glam, like super glam.
Can't we put you in
Nails.
like a girl Ghostbuster jumpsuit, and then you could still be popping out in glam, but it would be safe if we're tromping around weird ass places in the middle of the night.
That's no fun. I want to wear my Cosmos. Can I have a blinged out jumpsuit?
You can have a blinged out jumpsuit. I just don't feel comfortable with you running around a cemetery in the middle of the night in a muumuu.
Well, it wouldn't really be a muumuu. It'd be like this is a swimsuit cover up, to tell the truth.
Well, I wouldn't have known. You look fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so gorgeous. I can't stop staring at my boobs.
We have someone that jumped in. Did you send this to anyone?
I did. I put it on Facebook.
Well, this link was just for you goof. The link that I sent you was for the stage, for the broadcast itself.
So we have people just running in the room?
Well, we had somebody pop on, but then they popped off. I think that they realized that they were coming into the broadcast studio. But you know what? If you're on Lauren's Facebook page and you'd like to join us for a sec, what the hell?
Well, then how did Angelina and Daniel get in without popping?
No, they're on the chat for the live, but somebody actually popped into the broadcast like you did when you came in. Is that the link that you posted?
I whatever you sent me in Messenger is what put on Facebook. I think. I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, I'm going to look on your Facebook page now and see what the heck you did. Random people are just going to jump in. Well, they can only come in when I let them in.
I know who it was. I know who it was.
Are they a musician?
Excuse me?
Are they a musician? Is that who they
Yes.
are? Oh, gee. I see where you shared. No, you didn't add the link for there. You just shared the broadcast. Or did you send it to their messenger?
I messaged it.
You're such a dork. Okay, well, feel free to come back. What the hell? What the hell?
This is why I'm cute. They do not want to be in this.
Well, I don't blame them, but what the hell? That's what we're going to do one night. We're going to post the link and I'm going to be like, random people, you want to have your say? Pop in. What the hell? Let's see what people say. I'm going to get some hater that's going to be like, you're a crazy bitch and I'm going to set you on fire. I'm going to be like, sounds like a good time. At least I'll be warm.
So how do I forward the actual information?
Okay, so go.
It's a good thing I'm cute. What?
It is a good thing you're cute. So go on the live, click on the broadcast, and then hit the share button. I don't know. I can't see your phone, you weirdo. If you go on the broadcast, just like you shared it to your page, now share it specifically to Messenger, or tell them to look on your page where you shared
it. We aren't at that point. Thank you very much.
Oh, excuse me. So share it to Messenger. That's okay. But yes, ghost hunting would be a fun thing. Oh, see, Caitlin is saying that TikTok would be wonderful for us. Start hitting likes if you think that we should do a golden apple TikTok. I'm going to mute for 1 second because I have to cough. I promise I don't have COVID.
I licked her. She doesn't.
Wow.
What?
You licked me? That doesn't mean I'm yours. She says Caitlin says it's a much wider platform. It probably is, but it's the getting started. I have a little over 2 weeks to decide, have a final decision on products that I'm going to be showing on a virtual convention as a vendor for Golden Apple. So that's kind of occupying my thoughts right now.
I have an emergency.
Uh-oh. She ran out of Diet Dr. Pepper. Is it an emergency like you can go to your kitchen and get more, or you have to run to the corner store?
I can go to the kitchen. Girl, I gotta go to the liquor store. I'll be right back.
Right? That would be hysterical. Go to the kitchen. I can talk to people here.
All right.
So if you think that we should do a TikTok, like, maybe I will try it out. But I do hear it from a lot of people. Like Caitlin, you're not the only person that's been saying that we should do a TikTok. My friends Christine and Abel have been talking about it too. They're all about TikTok, but it's just the getting started. Also, if you would like us to live stream weird ghost hunting crap, that would be fun too. I just think that would be hysterical. I would love to go investigate places that I think are cool. In fact, I started, and I kind of fell off for a few weeks, so I have to get back to it. I started a broadcast called yeah, I totally saw your brother. Called My Paranormal Bucket List. So it's places that I would like to go investigate. And the first one I wrote about was Amityville Horror House, which I don't think anyone can actually investigate right now because it's a private home. The Winchester Mystery House. I did some research on that and found out some really fascinating things about the Winchester Mystery House. I would love the hotel. I think it's the Biltmore in Los Angeles. That's where the Black Dahlia murders were. Oh, Daniel says, thank God he missed your bra.
I can see that.
Putting it out there for everybody to know, putting your business. And where else? Where else would I like to? There's, I think, Hill House in Texas. I was watching this. Here I go for my plug again. On Discovery Plus, I was watching a show called Paranormal Declassified. It's actually a really interesting show. There's an investigative reporter that goes through and investigates paranormal claims like Bigfoot. Like he really seriously investigates this stuff to see could this be something that could be real, or the Loch Ness monster, because not only in Scotland and Loch Ness, but in places like Canada and Lake Champlain. I think. Champlain, yeah, they have sightings, and so one of the things he's investigating is, and he's working with actual scientists to see could this be some sort of underwater creature that we just has evolved or not evolved, has been the same, like sharks haven't evolved for what they say millions of years or hundreds of thousands of years. I don't know how many years. But they haven't had to evolve, but they're still there. I mean, the National Oceanic Society says that there's like at least I think it's 91% of the oceans have things that 91% of oceanic life we haven't cataloged yet, because there are just some places that are too deep for us to go.
Not only that, they kind of move around and not in a visible place.
They don't fill out those change of address forms.
No.
So my thought is that people that say that certain things, okay, well, we'll use Bigfoot for an example. Is it really a mythical creature, or could it be some sort of creature that's evolved, like a primate type creature?
Well, I gotta say, I think we would have come across at least a carcass.
Depends on how, if it's a primate type creature, it really depends on how evolved their quote unquote
Burial
society was.
rituals.
Yeah, well, they've shown that with if you look at like Neanderthal man, it
Mm,
could be something that that went a different strain of our evolution, you know, but it also things that people think are mythical creatures.
mm.
Maybe it's just things that are smart enough to hide from us because they realize that human beings are really destructive, and we just haven't proven their existence yet.
Well, oh,
Cryptozoology.
right. Um, they do have uh, extinct, like the bodies of extinct fish. I just think on land it's a little more challenging because we're clear cutting huge swaths of trees, and I just while we might be, what is that? Oh, what is that?
I don't know, but I'm gonna look. It's Gigantopithecus. I'm gonna look it up right now because I'm very excited. Hold on.
Let's hope it's not something sick.
Oh, you would think that, wouldn't you? Oops, maybe it's
From my family? Yes.
Gigantopithecus. Aha. Oh, yes, this is a primate. It's an extinct genus of ape from the early to middle. I can't pronounce this word. Uh, Pleistocene of southern China, represented by one species, G. blacki. Potential identifications have also been made in Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia. So it's a primate, but oh gosh, yeah, it does kind of look like Bigfoot.
Hmm.
And it's an apparently extinct creature.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean the land bridge, the Bering Strait, was connected longer than a lot of the other bits of Pangea, so it's possible if it was in China. Did you say China?
southern China, yeah.
It could cross over.
Yeah, it's I believe that truth is stranger than fiction.
Oh,
And
I
for other
agree.
things that kind of pop in and out of being corporeal, like let's say the Fae.
Right.
There are some that believe that the Fae mostly live in a dimension that's just out of phase from ours, which sounds like something out of a fantasy novel. However, now they can theoretically prove that other dimensions exist.
Yes. The strand theory,
Hmm.
or M theory. It's called M theory. It's the combination of strand and parallel universe that that basically it's like strings on an instrument,
Hmm.
and we kind of bump into other universes. There's the Magicians. Did you watch the Magicians?
I got through the first couple seasons and then I kind of dropped off. I need to catch up.
Well, it is since I think it only went 4 seasons,
No, I
but
think
they
it's
had a
four or
like an
five.
maybe 5. I don't remember. I just watched the last one that they had, but it had these donut Earths that were all in a larger universe, and they were kind of floating together. And I think that that's an interesting concept because it's the many different versions of the world all
Hmm.
existing at the same time, but on different levels.
Yeah, different planes. Yeah.
So it's a good visual. If you
Mhm.
want a good visual, it's a good visual.
Well, it's just like the ocean. There's so much about space that we just don't know that we haven't explored.
Yes. uh, we don't have it's funny about like what we think and understand that we're capable of, and this is where like the spirits, the powers beyond us, come into play in a major way.
Hmm.
um we think we know things until we discover we didn't know it at all.
Mhm.
And it's really difficult for us as a species to back off from our beliefs. There are some simple fundamental things about science that prove over and over again. Climate change. I mean, we're looking at effects of climate change right now in Texas. I mean, my best friend lives there, and one of my best friends lives there, and eh, they were down to 27 degrees in Dallas. I mean, in
Yeah,
Houston.
that's
Um,
dramatic.
but some of the greatest minds, especially in theoretical physics, have admitted they screwed up their theories. Their theories have been disproven. But the object of science is to exist with this one thought until the next thought can be till that can be disproven or changed, but it's something to build on. So it isn't necessarily that they're wrong, they screwed up, they're stupid. It's more so that they were only capable of getting so far. So my favorite creature is a tardigrade. I'm obsessed with tardigrades. They are a micro animal.
Mhm.
I got a t-shirt, by the way.
Course you
I
did.
love them. I'm crazy for them. And uh there's something, they were discovered in the 1790s. But I mean, consider a species that people have known about since the 1790s and nobody paid attention to it until like then 200 years later. Then it's like, oh, tardigrades, I'm not saying, I knew about it. I wasn't here, but
Or
they're
was he?
it's possible. Your mom's a tardigrade. Um, um,
That was in response to this comment, in case you're not on the Facebook. But
whatever.
that's the awesome thing about science, though, is there's always new discoveries, so you can always reevaluate. How long have people thought that metaphysics and witchcrafts and the energies that we work with are just make believe? They're just fake. But now we're finding that we can start proving them scientifically. You
The
know,
so where I was kind of initially going is we're all born with cancer. We have this concept that cancer is the great scourge of humanity, but we're all born with cancer. The minute we're born, cancer cells start to reproduce in our bodies. We just don't have the technology to be able to see them until they're at a certain percentage.
yeah.
So that's why early detection is important, is because we're really, that early detection is really late in the game for when these tumors are growing and reproducing. So we don't have the capacity to see what's out there in the universe that's beyond what we know now. We
Mhm.
don't have the technology. As we slowly gain the technology, the more we'll know. Like, the more we gain the technology to detect more minute amounts of cancer cells, then we have to deal with what we have now, and then we'll slowly be able to eliminate. I mean, people will be living. Look at where we are at our age. Our ages, we would look older than we are. Maybe it was the 70s. I don't know. Our parents, all of our
I
parents
think it
kind of
was the
seemed rode hard
70s,
and put away wet,
right?
and
Yeah.
and
They said they partied a lot.
right. I partied a good amount. I think I look pretty good, but I mean, I'm knocking on 50's door, and I don't get 50 very often. I certainly don't get my age 48 very often. And what we are doing is we're preserving ourselves more uh, slowly but surely. We're going to be living to 120
Mhm.
without much ailments, the more we get down to the science. And all of that stuff is metaphysical. They also found, and this is what I think is really interesting. This is why science, just, I geek out on it. Now, don't chiropractors come after me, but it's a bunk science. Anyway, but they did a study to show results in the nervous system when somebody got acupuncture in comparison to chiropraction. And it showed actual electric movement. It made a needle move when people put the needles, when acupuncturists put needles into the nerves in the body. This is an ancient science. Chiropraction was, I hope that's the correct word, was founded on the theory that your soul existed in your spine, and the only way to release evil demons from your spine, your soul, was to crack the back. I just want a little bit more science than that. Just a little. I'm not asking for a lot. But I think that science will slowly find that we are on the right track as practitioners of magic, as the magi of the earth. I don't mind the concept of being the magi of the earth, the universal spiritualists. And they've found that people can make water change, not significantly, but a little bit, by using energy movements. Mm-hmm. And that's all. We're the keepers of the soul of the universe, of the earth. And I think that's what's important about us. And that's why coaxing the spirits, coaxing those entities that are outside of us, that see the greater picture and are capable to see parts of the universe, parts of the body, parts of the soul that we don't have any idea about. I think that's what it's one of the reasons why I'm glad we live when we live, because we aren't ostracized anymore. I'm glad that we are capable of sharing our voices with people. You know how afraid I was to even come out, because there's been backlash in my family and backlash in society in general for people who are a little less than Christian.
I definitely deal with some of that with the things that I work with. So, I don't really come out a lot and say it because, people do have an immediate reaction, an immediate misconception, and, then that misconception and suspicion is cast upon me as a person. Because I do shadow work, and I do deal with darker entities. I don't consider them dark. I don't consider them evil. I just consider them different. And I've never really had any issues. And in return, I can help people with problems of a darker nature. Are you sending me a private chat? Are you chatting to me? What are you doing? Are you writing me a love poem? No, she's sending a message to someone that is not me.
What? I
Oh,
sent you a message.
Oh, what did you say? Did I say doo-doo what? You're like 12 years old. I swear to God.
You said doo-doo.
You are a tardigrade. I'm just going to say it.
Fuck. What? Tardigrades are super awesome. And anybody that says otherwise is stupid.
Oh, there's that kind and cuddly part of you coming out.
I can only do so much fucking spiritual work, okay?
Yeah, but as you become more comfortable with, your own self-healing, that may transcend into you doing work for other people.
I know, you've been pushing me in that direction. I wouldn't mind.
You know what? I definitely see things for potential for you.
Well, maybe I'm starting with a whole great big brand new blank slate.
But hey, don't discount it. You can, I do believe that people can start fresh, that people can turn things around. I mean, 10 years ago, if you'd have asked me if I was doing shadow work or working with energy, I'd have been like, nah, dude. Nah.
Right. Right.
I wouldn't have, I have interesting things happen to me, is what I would have said. But I never saw spirits at that time. And I have since then. I
Mhm.
did have visions at that time, and I have since then. Not a lot, because I'm not very comfortable with it. So, and I think that if you have a fear and an uncomfortability with things, you can stop them from happening. At least at the level that I'm at, because I don't consider myself a psychic at all, because I don't have stuff like that going on.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I can tap into and connect with energies that can give me those things, and I have to be in definitely a certain mindset to hit it. I do have clairaudience, which at some points you can, what did they say when you're hearing voices? You definitely have to evaluate yourself, I think, on a constant basis, especially if you're new to it. But if I'd have been hearing voices 10 years ago, I'd have checked myself into for a nice little vacation. Now I'm less uncomfortable with it.
Mhm.
But again, I have to be in a certain headspace. But I've seen things and I've experienced things that don't have I want to say, a traditional answer to them.
Uh,
You know,
yeah. That I think we got away from as a well, there actually did. I was recently talking about this. It used to be that if you had a Catholic in your family in England, that was considered worse than having a witch in the family.
well, yeah,
And so there haven't always been these headhunting expeditions for people who were in touch with the spiritual and the earth. For the most part, like your midwife, the
Mhm.
herbalists, the lady that could grab something out of the ground and turn it into medicine was considered a valuable member, a healer
Well, yeah, they were the
in the
white person.
community.
They were the town healer.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know when, like for sin eaters, for example, I don't know when they became ostracized in their communities, but it was very funny because if you were a sin eater, so if you don't know what a sin eater is, just a little background there. This was basically a person, for lack of a better term, that would, when you had someone that died in your family, they would come and sit with your deceased member of your family. They would eat a meal, and through that meal, they were supposed to absorb the sins of the deceased so that your deceased family member could go to heaven. Um, and I read this wonderful book called it's either Last Confessions of a Sin Eater or Confessions of the Last Sin Eater. I don't remember the title off the top of my head, but when I read it, it was very profound for me, because some of the energy work that's described later in the book
Mhm.
is how I see my own energy. Like literally, it was like they wrote down the visual that I have when I do energy work. Now, I won't sit with anybody's dead because, ew. And I'm the last person on earth to try and absorb somebody's sins. I got my own, and I enjoy them very much. Thank you. Um, but for pulling out this energy, so the sin eater not only would sit with the dead there, but he would also do energy work on people. And this particular person, when he was finished with the energy work, he would literally regurgitate. Maybe not necessarily vomit, but he would regurgitate that energy. And in the spot where he regurgitated that energy, even if he was not physically vomiting,
Mhm.
the plant life in that area would die
Uh,
because of the negative stuff that was coming out.
mhm.
Um, so he actually, the book is written from the perspective of someone that was his assistant. And that's who wrote the book.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, it's a great book. Diana actually got it for me because, for lack of a better term, that's a term that we've used for me, though
Mhm.
it's not accurate. So I don't necessarily consider myself that, but it is very similar to things that I do. I think another, the only movie I've ever found that references Sin Eater is called I think it's called The Order. It's a movie with Heath Ledger.
Okay.
And I really liked it. But it's just, you hear a lot about people that do Reiki and that do energy healing,
Hmm.
but you don't necessarily hear a lot about people that pull out negativity or that pull out attachments. Not specifically. We hear a lot about people getting cleansed, people getting saged, people, that kind of stuff. But you don't hear specifically about the people that can pull those energies out. So it was very hard for me to find someone that I could identify with in this work.
Hmm.
Um, and I've read some great books by an author and a psychic named Michelle Ballinger. She wrote a book about, I believe it's the Psychic Energy Codex and the Vampire Energy Codex, I believe.
Hmm.
And she herself is a psychic vampire.
Hmm.
Um, and the energy work that she describes in these books were actually immensely helpful for me to understand how I do what I do. I've I'm still learning quite a bit. It's a very, I don't know that it's a perfect process,
Hmm.
but I think part of it is my comfort level in accepting it, and being more comfortable to talk about it. And part of this is me building that comfort level to talk about it, because you rarely hear me talk about it in the group. Maybe more so recently than I have in past years.
Hmm.
And that's because it is very much I don't want to say work in progress, but it is.
Right.
Just learning how to master it and how to work with it and how to help people in the best way that I can with this. And so, you might just be at that starting point, you know, where you're seeing how the work that you do,
Hmm.
can help other people.
Yeah. I am, because I do it kind of daily now.
Hmm.
And so, I hope that whatever energies I'm put just on a basic level, I hope that whatever energies I put out in the universe are going to benefit others.
I think that they are. You're definitely more at peace now than you were even
More
6
what?
years ago. At peace.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. Um, I am uh, either the sun or the shot are getting to me.
Are you starting to fade?
I'm starting to fade, but I wanted to get to the magic in nature
Hmm.
and every day. And if anybody wants to pipe in and talk about the magic that they see in their everyday lives, that'd be great to add to the comments.
Hmm.
But what's some of the magic that you see in your everyday life? Sometimes it gets overlooked, I think.
It really does. Through this pandemic, I've spent a lot of time inside. Um, but just going out and being able to, even just going out and being able to sit against a tree, I think you definitely feel that energy, and it's all about a connection.
Hmm.
One of the meditations I do is a meditation with the elements, and I kind of change it up depending on which element I want to work with. But it really helps me think about those things, like, okay, if you're working with the element of air,
Hmm.
like what it feels like to have, just the wind blowing in your face, or how it whips your hair around, and how you'll catch scents from different things. And sometimes you'll feel like, if it's really windy out, you'll feel the yes, you'll feel the chill of the wind, but then you'll feel the things that are being carried by the wind. and it's those experiences that I think that sometimes we overlook, that energy that's coming with us.
Mhm.
Cinti, who is Diana's partner, is an animist. So they see the energy and the spirit of everything, not just people, not just entities, not just deities, but of the trees, of, a chair can have an animistic spirit. So they work with a lot of that. And while I don't see it in like a table or a chair, I definitely do see it in things like plants and, in the ground, in the water.
Mhm. Right on. Uh, on Wednesdays I go out to Alameda, and I think one of the things that I I can sit for hours and just watch the water, watch people on the water,
Mhm.
um, watch boats. I mean, it's endless what uh, what peace and serenity that brings me. And I feel very connected, not just to the earth beneath me and the sky. I mean, the sky was absolutely stunning today, but I like it when it's in every phase of its existence. Like when it's stormy, when there's nothing more amazing than the sky and the clouds after a storm and it's starting to lift and the sun's just breaking through, um, and it's like the world is coming back to present itself. Um, but I even like magic in its more human form. When I see people helping each other, when I
Mhm.
see when I see people showing compassion to each other who don't know each other, um, I I think that's I wish that I saw it more often. I think that we've
Mhm.
been really selfish, and I think that the degrees of who we are have become more extreme since COVID. Uh, the people who are truly invested in those around them have have gone above and beyond. My brother, as a matter of fact, is a nurse, so I'd
Oh,
like to
I
give him a
certainly.
hearty, huh? Did you run away, Nikki? Oh, God damn it, am I here alone again? All right, well, I'd like to give my brother a hearty shout out,
Let's
um,
see.
and for doing
Oh,
what he
Lauren, did I
does. And
lose you?
I think I lost you. Somebody went somewhere.
Oh, there you are.
I look
Hello?
the same. One of us was talking to the people. I don't know who it was, but I kept talking. And I want to
So
give
did I.
my brother a shout out for being a nurse during the pandemic and working hard to help keep us all together. Um,
Absolutely.
and I think that that's the kind of thing. Just showing up. It's funny. Just showing up for work is a selfless act for
Mhm.
people who are in the service to the community. So I think that to me is magic in the everyday. And sadly, the people who are horrible have gotten worse. But but
And they
in
feel
a
like they have a platform now.
huh?
They feel like they have a platform now.
Um, oh, did I disappear?
No, you're still here.
Where did I go?
Well, if you don't know where you went.
Well, I can't see me anymore. So what's the point of
Uh-oh.
looking?
Well, I see you. But to kind of touch on where you're talking about, you said something that I find kind of interesting. You said that you think that the selfishness level of people has kind of gone since the pandemic. You just kind of added yourself to the stream again. So we're gonna put you on this one. Do you see yourself? Look, she's so excited. It's Lauren
There's
in
two
Bubble.
of
Not anymore.
me.
You see yourself now?
There's still an echo.
Well, that's you. Let's see.
How did
Like,
I do this?
I don't know.
I'm
Can you see?
backstage. I'm backstage of my own experience.
Okay, hold on. We're going to add her back in. We're going to add this one. Maybe we won't get an echo there. How's
Okay.
that?
Oh, still an echo.
Okay,
Do
hold
you
on.
hear an echo?
I do hear an echo. Watch this. How's
This is
that? Better?
awesome.
Are you still backstage? No. She just, oh, well, she's going to have to come back. Damn it. Device is not connected. I'm not really sure how that happened. Wait, here she is. Okay.
All right.
There she is. There you are. We found you. All right. Technical difficulties. This seems to happen about 1:45 usually, hour and 45 minutes in. But I think that part of it, I don't think it's just since the pandemic that people have started to, you know, that level of selfishness and isolation has just been through the pandemic. I think it's because, like, if you remember when we were kids, like there was definitely like the neighborhood. You had the neighborhood people, and we knew the neighborhood people. When I was a kid, like we'd leave our houses during the summer. You'd leave your house in the morning, you'd run around all day, and you just had to be home by the time the light went on in front of your house. And as you're running to get home in time, there'd be all these people in the neighborhood going, you better hurry up. You know what your mom's going to do, because they knew you. And it didn't matter whose house we were at, because everybody in the neighborhood knew everybody else. As we got older, I think that changed. You didn't have that connection with your neighbors. I mean, most of your neighbors there.
Yeah. Well,
You know, I don't really know. I mean, yeah, I'm fairly new to this complex, but I don't really know my neighbors. I only knew like two, 3 neighbors at the last place.
Yeah.
At the townhouse that I lived before that, I knew the people that lived upstairs from us or next door to us, and that's it. I didn't know anybody else. So we've lost that community, that neighborhood identity.
Yeah. And for me, it's incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only as good as my neighbor. I'm only as safe as my neighbor. I'm only as happy as my neighbor.
Mm-hmm. But how many times if people, they hear their neighbors arguing and they don't want to get involved, they're afraid to get involved. And we used to get involved. We used to be involved in things. We used to care for each other's children, or at least watch over each other's children. And as I feel like as technology has become more on the rise, it's like we're connected to everything,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not. Or we have the greater opportunity to be connected to more things, but we're really not. We're more isolated now because we're spending time like this behind a screen rather
Yeah.
than making those actual connections. And yes, it's necessity right now, but it was on the rise before the pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying. Well, what I was talking about is I think it's made it much more clear, the line very clear of, who
That
the people are who are, everybody's separated and put into their corners for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So you really show yourself when you're, left to your own devices. But the magic that I like, the magic that makes me happy that I see every day is I like to get on my bike and go ride in the world and see the world. There's something that gets lost when we're in cars all the time and we're on the freeway and we pass over by through the magic that happens all around us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I like being on my bike because it's got me on the ground right there, right next to whatever's happening, and going out to Alameda and being on the island and being by the water. It's so incredible. I just put on some tunes and just zone out and I'm happy. And I hope everybody gets to take that time. And for me, magic is in the water with all those millions of creatures. We don't know what the hell they
The
are.
unidentified things. Yeah. I used to be able to, when the kids were at school, I used to go park up at the Sutro Baths, like above the Sutro Baths, that parking lot up there at Land's End. I used to park there. I'd walk down the hill to the beach, and I would walk from one end of the beach to the other and then come back. And it took a couple hours, but I wasn't really in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
It was just my time to kind of reconnect. to things outside of my phone, outside of my, my laptop, outside of, the technology. I mean, I might have had my earphones in with music, but,
Hmm.
a lot of the time I would just have them out so I could hear the ocean. And it's a very calming feeling. And when you can take that time to just feel, like feel yourself, being your own skin in that moment. I think a lot of times we're thinking about the next moment, the next thing. Even when we're in the middle of a task, we're thinking about what's next on my list. How often are we really sitting there experiencing the moments that we're in and
Right.
being present?
Mm. Yeah, and as amazing as technology is, there's something to be said for appreciating the beauty and the spectacle that's
Mhm.
right underneath our feet and
Yeah.
next to us every day.
Yeah. I
I
mean, go ahead.
I love finding the new creature that's some strange thing walking across the ground. I'm just like, wow, that's kind of fun, or flying in the air.
Mhm.
Um, or, today, my moment of magic was the I was coming back on my bike, and there's this huge flock of birds that were all flying in. Birds freak you out?
Birds freak me out.
Well, they were down on the water. I was up on the bike path, and they're twisting and flying all in unison. And when they turn, the tops of their bodies were white and the bottoms of their bodies were dark. So when they turned, you would see this wave of white and then it would disappear. And it was all just, feet above the water. And it was magnificent. And you would see one part of the wave of birds turn and turn white. And then you'd see the tail end of the group begin to
Mhm.
turn white, and then by that time the front is turning black. And I was like, oh my god, I wish I could get video of that. That's magnificent. It's just all of nature in unison working together, making this gorgeous gorgeous change in and of themselves. And I was just mesmerized. I was certainly going to crash into something, which is not entirely unusual for me on my bike, but
Maybe not.
I run into full on walls. But it was really just, I took a deep breath in to make sure I put that moment in to my memory, because it was really beautiful. And you've seen it in, like, movies, nature films and stuff like that, but to see it in manifest in reality was just, I mean, it's such a small thing, but it's so magnificent.
Yeah, I've seen similar things. Living in Pacifica, we'd see that a lot. And one of the things when because the store where I work is by the water. So when I'm coming over the hill to go to work, a lot of times I'll be able to see the waves crashing. And it's just, yeah, that's kind of my surreal moment there. I mean, if it's a day where I can have my windows down, great. Um, but yeah, it's definitely, to be able to have that moment where, you can feel the energy, you can see what you're seeing, and you can just completely be in that moment.
Hmm.
Those are the things that I don't think we get enough of now.
I don't think so either. And that's the magic that connects me back to the earth and back to nature, and that's where I really grow and I thrive. And it really truly, and especially now that we're spending so much time inside,
Mhm.
isolated, it's so important to reach towards those things that connect us to existence, to life,
Mhm.
and green shit and air, fresh air.
Fresh air is nice. I know I have a big habit of when I get up in the morning, hopefully in the morning, I like the windows open unless it's really, really cold. I know cold here is not as cold as other places, but it's still cold. But I like to have the fresh airs of the windows being open, that it can recirculate in the apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
especially because we
Me
have
too.
the 2 floors. Yeah.
I don't like air conditioning. I have to say I sure do like living here in the Bay Area where I don't have to really use my heat or air conditioning, at least at this point. We
Yeah.
could go all Texas in any minute now, but do you
Hopefully
know
not.
that we're like the only place in the country that doesn't have snow right now?
Oh, well,
Us
don't
and the
jinx us.
remainder of like
Don't jinx
Southern
us.
California.
Oh my God, don't jinx us. I would. You see what happens when one drop of water hits the ground here. Could you imagine if it was snow?
It can't be any worse than Virginia drivers during snow. Nothing gets
Well, I have
anywhere
to
close.
remember that you never see San Francisco drivers. I mean, not experiencing it as a driver.
No, I experience it as a bicyclist, and again, no one's worse than Fruitvale drivers.
That's probably fair.
Fruitvale drivers are a nightmare. It is taking my own life in my hands every time I get on a bicycle in this neighborhood. Just the parking on my block alone, it's some sort of ballet that I am not ready for.
Yeah, I don't even attempt. I just double park. Like you'll just come out to the car.
That's
You'll
what everybody else does. Everybody, but the poor bus driver, they need one of those cow things on the front of like on the
oh
train.
yeah. You like that?
All right,
You're frosty now.
I'm sleepy.
No, we're just about at 2 hours now, so this is a good time to kind of wrap it up. Thank you so much for being on this with me. I always love having you on because we have such a great conversation, and it just it flows really well, and I always appreciate having you on. And
I
not just
appreciate
because I
being here.
have to be here by myself, which I would. No one wants to listen to me talk for 2 hours.
Nobody. I mean, yes, we do.
Nobody does. It's okay. I knew you were going to say that. It's okay. But yeah, this has really been a lot of fun. I want to thank our commenters. I like that we had comments today.
Yeah.
Daniel, Caitlin, let's see who else did we have in here?
Angelina.
And Aaron, thank you for commenting. And for our 3 viewers that we still have on here, unless you've clicked onto your phone and you're one of the viewers, I don't know. I know that I'm not. I made sure that I logged off.
Who knows? Who knows?
Let's see. Where do we have people? We have 2 people viewing on Golden Apple, and 1 person on my on my Facebook page because I live it on my Facebook, the Metaphysical Facebook, and our YouTube.
Bye,
So,
Daniel.
bye. Oh, was there another comment that I missed? Oh, bye. Thanks for joining us tonight, Daniel. I hope we didn't scandalize you too much.
No, again, I've been his sister his whole life, so I don't think this is mild.
Yeah, this is really. I've only known you for like 5 years, but yeah, this is pretty mild.
I try to behave.
No, you don't.
On this.
Oh, okay. I was like, when? Really?
It says which is misbehaving, and I misbehave by behaving. You see, because normally I'm misbehaving.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you won't say while we're on a public forum, and I do appreciate that.
I know. Because I'm going to say something that I shouldn't have said, because that's my magic power. That's my true magic power.
Yeah,
is to say shit that nobody wants. Don't tell me anything. I'll tell everybody. And I don't mean like your dirty secrets. Those I'll keep. But, it said, huh?
Or I might tell them.
Right. Yeah. It'll all come out. It'll all just sit around me for a few minutes. Not your dirty secrets.
Yeah.
But, I'll say the shit that other people aren't saying. Like, that dress looks hideous on you. I'll tell you. I'm that friend. That thing's fucking hideous. But
you know what? I appreciate that about you. My favorite thing was when we saw each other for the first time after the pandemic had started. It had been quite a while. Well, was it a little bit before Halloween? We saw each other at something. And you were like, Well, we both put on a lot of weight, but your ass looks fantastic. I was like, thanks.
It did. It was amazing. I was like, sure, maybe you put on some weight, girl, but your ass is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get rid of that weight, but at least my ass still looks good. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. So
Yes,
many
that's,
things running through my head to say that I'm like, that's not a good idea. Don't do
I
it.
know.
Don't do it.
Oh, speaking of witches, got my prerequisite. Came with the kit.
Oh, there
Came
we
with
go.
the kit. Say hi, Caspian. Say, put me the fuck down, lady. God damn it. You,
It's okay. I went up to my bedroom. Well, I was getting ready for this and I came out of the bathroom. Elizabeth crashed out of my bed.
mhm.
Lilith, our black kitty, was crashed out in the middle of her bed. So I was just like, they were both sleeping almost identical, just in two different beds. That's great.
The black cats come with the kit.
No, the black cats don't come with the kit.
They do. They come with the kit. I got it in my kit.
Well, not
My
the spell kit that I have, that I
no,
sell.
my witch kit.
Because yeah. Oh, okay, with your witch
You know,
kit.
when you sign up with you get the newsletter, the witchy newsletter, the
The
whole
pin. Did you get the pin?
the pin for my yes, I got the
For your
pin.
hat, for your little witch hat.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
like it to mess up my hair.
Oh, there you go.
Um, uh, and the broom.
I was going to say the broom. Insert where you will. The broom. That sounded so much better in my head.
Yeah, it's well, it still works. Which way are my tits going? This way? This way.
No one knows. No one. What did you talk about your kids again? Now that your brother's not on, he said bye, so you figure you're safe.
Yeah, he might still be there, just
He
being a
might still be
creeper in
there.
the background.
Might still be there. I remember the time that one of our old coworkers, when Jared was on, all he kept doing was commenting on your boobs. It was great. To the two people that have just joined, this is Witches Misbehaving. This is what we do. Actually, I think we've been pretty mild tonight. Really, I
Yeah,
think
this
we've
is
been all
barely. This is there. We go. Right there. We go.
I know. I feel prepubescent because you can't see my cleavage, but that's okay.
I said let's do the
Oh,
show topless. You did.
your
You
brother is
just
still on.
yes, he is. He is, and this now. I'm glad we didn't do the show topless. That would have been quite a shock for him, huh?
That would have been awkward. I'm like, I'm sorry, Lauren's brother.
Oh, I haven't seen my sister in like 10 years. There's Oliver. All
Only
right,
seen Oliver if
fantastic.
you wanted to. All right. Thanks for joining us tonight. We we have been misbehaving. We've been left unsupervised. I want to thank my lovely guest. My lovely guest. I'm going to go this way. Lauren Barrett. And I'm Nikki Jobin. See us in 2 weeks. Well, I don't know if you'll be on. You may be on. You might not be on. Maybe it'll be three of us. Maybe it'll be you, me, and Diana. God, then it'll be a handful. Jeez Louise. In the meantime, follow us on the Facebook. I like saying the Facebook, Golden Apple Metaphysical, which you might be watching us on tonight. We also have a YouTube channel under the same name and an Instagram. We do occasionally do Instagram lives as well. And visit the website. Hold on, I'm going to put up the banner for the website here. www.goldenapplemetaphysical.com. This has been our. I was going to think of some weird infomercial thing to say, but I couldn't think of it.
Look at the kits. Check out the kits.
Check out the kits. Yeah, no, I was going to. You know how they have this little. This program has been brought to you by blah 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 blah.
The
This
letters L
podcast is
and N.
right. Do the weird Elmo voice that I do for my kids. I'm not doing that on here, but it's just to suffice it to say it is bad Elmo who brings a chainsaw everywhere, and they think it's hysterical. I can't do the voice right now.
You create a scary Elmo for your kid. Of course, your kids like a scary Elmo.
Oh my God, there was this thing where Elmo had a chainsaw because Big Bird made him sad, and he sold Big Bird to Colonel Sanders as a giant bucket of chicken.
This came out of your head,
Yeah, but are you surprised?
but with your kit. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, they were cracking up. Elizabeth almost peed her pants. We were laughing so hard.
Can
Because
that kid keep any bodily fluids inside her?
she can. She can. We were all laughing so hard I didn't know what to do. And then I was telling Noelle and Christine about it, and something slid in my hall closet, and we all freaking jumped. Elizabeth was like, I thought Elmo was in the closet.
Maybe it was the Japanese toilet ghost.
Maybe. Luna, shut up. It was just me. Now my dog's barking. The kids were watching something today, and the doorbell went off on the television, and she just started barking and running to the door. I'm like, you idiot, that was the TV.
The cats. I think everybody that puts doorbells in commercials should be shot. You want to come say hi again, Papa? Come on.
Say hi.
You gonna bite me? Don't bite. Say bye bye. Say bye bye, Papa.
Right. On that note, I am going to let us say bye bye. Bye, Caspian. Bye, Lauren.
Bye.
Thank you to Facebook and to the YouTube and the interwebs. We will see you next time. Thank
Love you, girl.
Bye. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.